Hey guys, Dave with Bossi Vans. We are going to do a Q&A today, so this should be kind of fun. Let's check it out.
What made you start Bossi Vans in the first place?
Most of you know this story already, but we were camping at Cardiff, San Alejo State Beach. It was before COVID, and he was telling me we were showing him. I was a contractor at the time, so we were showing him how we were, the kitchens and bathrooms that I was doing. And then he kept saying, "Dude, you got to do this van. You got to build vans." And I had a motorhome at the time. I'm like, I don't want a motorhome. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't want a van. They're too small. I had no clue about what the vans were at the time. So, anyways, long story short, we talked about it. I came home. I go, I'm going to flip a van because at that time we were flipping houses, which was booming at that time. This was before COVID, of course. And built my first van in my driveway. We used it. We loved it. We stopped using the RV. The RV sat there for like a year and a half before I actually sold it. And then later down the road, we went to a show, and I'm like, yeah, man, I'm like out of my league. These guys we had Fleetwood there, and I don't know, the bigger companies. Just kind of went well, and I opened up my first shop, and I had no clients, and I signed a 2-year lease, and I was like, what the heck? And it all worked out, and so here we are today with a bigger shop. I'm still a small company. I like to keep it like that. Because of course I like to sleep at night as well and not worry about 50 billion vans in my shop. So yeah, that's pretty much short in a nutshell there.
How does the very first van you ever built compare to the ones you build now?
So the very first van, it was a little more DIY looking. We've sure come a long way. It was a beautiful van. I'm not gonna lie. It was, for my first van, I thought it was amazing. But yeah, we've learned a lot of new tricks. We're in the evolution of this van. Things are constantly changing. New things are coming out. Better things. Yes, of course they're way more expensive than my first van. Of course, I believe my first van. I think I sold it for $75,000, and that was with the van. And now they're like in the 300s. So yeah, they've definitely evolved, but. Yeah, I mean, we've just learned the new tricks and better battery systems, better electrical systems, and every kind of bell and whistle you can think of. So yeah.
What sets Bossi Vans apart from other van builders?
So I think what sets us apart, honestly, there are so many great van builders out there. Most of us are all friends. The difference with me is I'm pretty much a two-man shop. I have myself, and I usually have one employee. Sometimes I'll bring 1 or 2 extra guys in if I get really busy. But what keeps me a little different is I'm constantly calling the customer, my client. We kind of become friends because every week I'm sending them, pictures of what we did for the week, spreadsheets, and so now it's kind of a closer relationship with each other. So I think that's kind of what sets us apart. Even though there's so many great van builders out there, some of these bigger companies and stuff. So I think that's just, sets me apart, is just staying small. And I like staying small. It helps, like I said, it helps me sleep at night. And, I can build up to like 3 to 4 vans sometimes. So, but yeah.
How long does a typical build take from start to finish?
So if you guys are looking at, let's just look at my van Momoa. It's a big monster van. That thing, most of the time, that's going to take somewhere about 4 to 5 months. That's just to be safe. Usually we can build a van in about 2.5, 3 months. But sometimes now, lately, with things going on, things are getting harder to get. Sometimes they take a little longer. But most of the time, it's 2.5, 3 months to build. And like I said, when I do get busy, I'll bring in extra help, and we'll try to keep it at that as best as we can. So if you work it, let me work it. This was playing. Okay.
What's the most requested feature clients ask for right now?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure. I mean, most of the time, a lot of these customers that come in, they know what they want. They've done all their research. They know what everything costs. The one thing I can't really say exactly what they're asking for, because pretty much everybody wants the same stuff, but I will tell you what I always tell everybody: at least put an air conditioner in a air conditioner is my number one, and a good battery electrical system. Kind of sucks when you have a really nice van and you have a crappy electrical system, or because you're trying to get it on the cheaper side. Like air conditioners, number one, and a good battery system that can push all kinds of stuff. So that way you don't have to worry about it. Yes, it's expensive, but just do it right.
What type of people are usually coming to Bossi Vans for builds?
So my clientele, I'm gonna say I usually have a little bit of the older clientele. So I'm gonna say about 45 to the 70s are my clientele. Yeah, and I think it's just because I do a lot of custom work, and they like it when I'm integrating them with the build, and I'm talking to them, and hey, I have another idea, even though we kind of had it already set what we're doing, and I'll throw some different different ideas out. And, if this was my van, this is what I would do, and ultimately it's your van, I'll do it however you want it. And so I think they like that. But yeah, I feel like my clientele is a little bit on the older side.
How important is upgrading the suspension on a van build, and when do you recommend it for clients?
So I feel that 95% of the vans that we outfit do need suspension upgrades. There's several great companies out there. You have Agile Off-Road, you have King Suspension, you have Van Compass. It really depends on what you want, and they would do vary in prices. I think they're anywhere from like $4,000 to like $18,000. So really depends what you want, what you need. But yes, we are adding weight to these vans. I'm going to stick with Mercedes because that's predominantly what we do. I'm going to stick with the new Mercedes. They're all-wheel drives, but they have really two leaf springs in the back. So most of the time when we're adding weight to these things, they need bigger leaf springs. They need heavier leaf springs and suspension, and you put in this weight and the van's rocking, so you'll have a little more stabilization with good suspension. So I always tell people, hey, budget for $10,000 to $12,000 at least, something decent and good. But that all varies, and it varies on your budget. And it varies on your weight of your van of what we did. So usually how it works is we build the van, you'll take it in, get it weighed, and then they'll kind of tell you, most of these companies will tell you, what kit you actually need or what they recommend. So yeah, there you go.
What's a realistic price range for a full Bossi van build, and what factors affect the final cost?
Okay, so I'm going to go again with the normal Bossi build because most of our vans are Sprinters, 170s are predominantly the builds we do. So I'm going to stick with that price. Most of our builds, if you look at everything kind of inside, they're usually about 110,000 for the interior of the van build. Now, when you start adding more to it, and this is coming with the components that we're putting on. So this is kind of what I'm going off of: is Victron components. Sometimes Battle Barn batteries or Expion 360 batteries, Timberline hydronic systems, shower, and you've seen all my stuff inside my vans. So that's usually including windows and air conditioner too. So that being said, you're looking at about 110,000 for the interior of the van, and that's kind of basic. And exterior, that's a whole nother story. That can go from $10,000 to $40,000, $50,000. It can add up super quick. So you can add a roof tent, and you can add, like we were talking about suspension, roof racks. What else we have? The boxes on the back. It depends what companies you go with. They all vary in different prices too, with all the storage on the back. Rims, tires. People want to do stuff in the front. We love to see tuned bumpers, so we do a lot of those. So by the time you do those and winches and Baja lights and all that, you're close to $6,000 for that. People love rhino lining, so that's another $3,000-4,000. So it can add up so quick, and people have no idea how quick this stuff adds up. So most of the time I tell people, hey, you don't need all this stuff on the exterior. Yeah, it looks sweet, badass, and it catches everybody's eyes. And that's what we went for because it's my show van, and that's what catches people's eyes. But that's not in everybody's budget. So realistically, you can get a really nice van with the van, depending on what you purchase. Let's just say you're buying a Sprinter van. You can find them anywhere from, I'm going to say 85 to 95 in that range, depending where you get it. And then of course your build's going to be, let's just say a good build, you can do a build for maybe 120. So let's just say your van's at close to 210,000 for a good build. Not all of them are that expensive. Sometimes we kind of go through I have a worksheet that I've done so many vans, and I have the prices of pretty much what things cost, and we can sit there and itemize things. A lot of times I sit here with customers going, okay, yeah, this is really nice to have. Ultimately, I'm going to give you the works, and then people just start crossing stuff out. Well, I really don't need this. I really don't need this. I really don't need this. But I always want to kind of give you that option, like, hey, the van's empty. You want to do it right the first time? Or some people just don't need all that stuff. So, but yeah, that's kind of plain and simple of how things work and cost. And so yeah, if you have any questions, give me a call. It is on my Instagram. I believe my phone number is on my Instagram. But that's Bossi Vans _. I couldn't really tell you what my what my YouTube is, or you can look up YouTube. I don't know. So anyways, thanks for checking us out, and hit us up with questions. Thanks.